Hey, Dorothy, how you doing today?
Oh, Roosevelt, I'm doing great. It's good to be back again.
I
Hey,
know, right?
we just really making this a weekly thing here, and I'm just loving the guests that we are bringing in, with the high enthusiasm and the energy that they're just projecting. I love it. So I'm not alone.
I know, because you bring the fire, and these two I know are gonna bring the fire also. I'm gonna start off by saying thank you guys for coming, Miss Najiri Kamara. I hope I said that correctly, and Miss Jameelah El Amin. Thank you all for joining us today.
And thank you for having me.
And thank you.
All right. So real quick, I'm just gonna ask Miss Najiri Kamara to introduce yourself, and then I'm gonna ask Miss Jameelah El Amin to introduce herself.
Well, good afternoon to the audience. I am Najiri Kamara, the anointed teacher. I am pastor of Restoring Broken Lives Outreach Ministry. I am also president of the Allendale Lakeside Ledbetter Heights Partnership and founder and national director of the Systemic Justice Policy Institute. I'm glad to be here today.
All right, all right. So Miss Jameelah El Amin, can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Jameelah Amin. I'm the executive, excuse me, executive director of Pamoja Art Society here in Shreveport. I've been the executive director for 20 years.
All right, all right. We are so happy to have you all here today. And one of the reasons that we have you all here today is because you all met at the Allendale Lakeside Ledbetter Heights Neighborhood Association. So, Miss Camara, you said you president, correct? Did I get that right?
Yes, sir. And Miss Dorothy and I, how we met. Now, Miss Dorothy is at the time she was a member. They had another president, but I've always been a part of what was going on in Allendale. And Miss Wiley, the Allendale Strong Group, began or formulated with a group of citizens in what is called North Allendale in the area surrounding the CRI, which is Community Renewal International, their friendship houses. They were hosting the community meetings where they previously had what was called the Allendale Care Team, and I was a part of that team as well. And as it evolved, into Allendale Strong and the work that was going on in Choice Neighborhood. Mrs. Dorothy Wiley and I met, Miss Jameelah Elamin and I met, we met 20 years ago doing work with Pamoja.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, the okay, so I grew up in both Lakeside and Allendale. My father actually grew up on Abbey Street, around the corner on in Lakeside. Right, my father, he grew up in Lakeside. My grandfather, I'm trying to remember what street it was, but he stayed in Lakeside also. I grew up in Allendale, so I am just like a North Shreveport child and baby of that area. My father has the same name as Roosevelt. Um, but I bring all that up to say, I feel some type of connection. I feel big time connection because my mother still stays in Allendale. My father grew up in Lakeside. My grandmother, when she first moved from Belcher, she moved into what we call the bottom, right?
Right.
I have deep, deep connection for that area. And that's why I love to see the organization. I love to see the togetherness that you all are putting out there. And once again, it seems that women are pushing the narrative. Women are out here doing the work of getting the community together, and that's why I'm so happy to have you all here, because women as a whole, especially in the church, right? The church and the community, women as a whole have started to change in all aspects. Now, can you go a little bit more into the neighborhood association and what their goals are, what their immediate goals, what their future goals are?
Yes, sir. And Miss Wiley, the Allendale Lakeside Ledbetter Heights Partnership is a nonprofit organization that was established back in 2006. From their onset, I think it was established by you had a former Judge Harry Huckabee, former Commissioner Michael Williams, the late NAAC President Lloyd Thompson. So you had some people who were in positions at that time when the partnership started who knew that there was some things coming down the pike to where the communities together, the three, needed to be connected and needed to link arms in order to protect the area. And as you heard Miss Elamine indicated about the impending gentrification based on everything that's been going on, that is what we see. But our 2021 strategic plan for the Allendale Lakeside Ledbetter Heights Partnership is, of course, to continue to stabilize the organization with a strong and committed board. We work as a cohesive organization. We're financially stabilizing, and we have a mission and a vision. The mission, of course, is to protect the historical preservation and preserve the historical context of the area and to improve the quality of life for the residents. So we actually have system building programs that we want to implement where we're trying to work directly with the city of Shreveport itself, Department of Community Development, as well as with the choice neighborhood partners, since they identified Allendale Ledbetter Heights as a choice neighborhood and they did receive funding in. So we're just trying to ensure that although you do have other institutions and the governmental entities that are involved, we want to ensure that the residents themselves are looked at. We know those entities have their own mission objectives for themselves, and organizations seek to perpetuate themselves. We're just wanting to ensure that whatever their plans are, that they are in congruence with what we, the residents, see as needs for our area. And so we were working on start building up our membership, trying to get more businesses that are in the area. We do know that we have some businesses that are under the radar, meaning they're not licensed, but they are transacting business. We want to help the economy of our area and create a village framework in Allendale by linking and connecting with all of the nonprofits, all of the business that exists, and then bring in resources such as uh, 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 homeowner home buying training classes, because the choice neighborhood is going to bring in new housing development. We want to make sure that the residents, the people who live in Allendale, have themselves situated such that they can take advantage of being able to become homeowners through that homeowner home buying class. We've got work going on where we're wanting our young people to be engaged, as I referenced earlier about my fun childhood memories of the city, was all of the organized sports opportunities that were available, and they were at no cost. We know that the city sport department now is working as self-funded. That means they put a price on everything for kids to do. The average single mother making $8 an hour cannot afford to pay for each child. Got 5 kids, got to pay a ID for each child. Anything they want to do, they got to pay. That shouldn't be. That should be a part of the city will. It should be a part of the goodwill for the city that we provide opportunities for young people to be engaged in structured team building activity, and not that their parents have to pay for everything. That's what's going on now. The other thing we're trying to do, of course, is outreach to the community, doing an assessment to find out what people determine their needs are. We know that COVID has had ravaging effects on our communities, even in households and homes, people getting sick, people dying. There's need for people to understand the need to buy life insurance, burial insurance, just a lot of things that we see that impact quality of life. And we're partnering with a Parts Advisory Council to do the holiday celebrations for young people. And to just to say what we're doing in April, on April 25th, the Allendale Lakeside Ledbetter Heights Partnership, we are partnering with the company up on Texas Avenue, which that's our boundary as well. And we're going to have a Sunday social. The purpose behind it is a call for justice and unity. I think Ms. Jameelah said our city is splintered. We don't work together. Everybody wants to, I guess, be the captain. So we got a bunch of chiefs and no Indians. So it's difficult for, I'm not saying that work is not going on, and I'm not saying that good works are not going on, because they are. They are occurring in isolation of one another, such that we're not getting the bang for our buck that we could if people locked arms and worked together. So on that day, the intent, we call for the judiciary to make to make affirmations about what is needed to have justice. And we're talking about social justice, as well as the fact too that we're wanting to unify. We're wanting to embrace all of the differences or the diversity that exists in our community. And that's people, no matter what their background frame of reference may be. Of course, we're not inviting people to come and shoot and cut up and stab and create havoc. We're calling forth this for unity and justice. We're saying it's needed in this community. And so that will be from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at 1100 Texas Avenue. We got an outdoor market, and all of the nonprofits in the area are invited to come. And we just want a fellowship. We got people across both sides, both aisles, all races of people to come and be a part of this, to say, we're all human. We share this community, and there is no community without unity. You got just look at the word. So anyway, it's justice and unity celebration. That's the next thing we got coming up.
Okay. I
Yes, sir.
love it. I love it. Now, I mean, and since we're talking about different organizations, we're going to bring Miss Amin in to talk about the Pamoja House. The Pamoja House located right behind Booker T. Washington High School, which I think is a high school that I went to, the Great Lion Den, right? So can you talk a little bit about the Pamoja House, Miss Amin?
Well, the Pamoja House is a historical house. It's been there since, I think, before the 50s. I'm not sure, but I imagine. But we intend to, being the art organization, our interest is in the arts, and teaching the children. We're having a place for children from Booker T and throughout the community. Like Ms. Kamara said, it's a diverse community. But we want to have them to be able to use the outdoor garden studio, the pottery studio, and the resource center with the books. Those books are very important because it's an eclectic collection that came from way back during the Harlem Renaissance from New York. So we're excited about the Pamoja House. It also has the nursery. Like I said, the community's going to be growing plants. We're going to be making pottery bowls so we can have it taken around to the nursing homes and maybe to the schools and things like that, and include all of the people in the community. It's a wonderful place, and it was really kind of run down, and now I hope everybody go by and just take a look at it. It's our green initiative, the Inner City Green Initiative. Everything is done we have a metal roof. We have everything that is sustainable and efficient. So we're very excited about the Pamoja House. It's in its final stages of being completed.
Oh, I am. Oh, yeah. So me myself, I love the whole idea of being eco. I really would like to jump into the ecological part of like solar power,
Right.
reusing gray water, things like that. I work one of the coolest build. I work at Georgia Tech, and one of the coolest buildings at Georgia Tech is a office building that reuses the gray water. They send the black water out into like a reservoir area that the plants use to grow on, and they have solar power. And I mean, it's the coolest thing. So I am so happy that you guys are even putting that into thought
Right.
of of your building.
And we want to be an information stream so we can show the neighbors what can be done in our community. We also are going to have a water, we're going to be collecting rainwater to water the garden and flush the toilets or whatever. We have a tankless hot water heater. We have, it's just a wonderful place, and it's wonderful to be working on it. And I would love for everyone to come by and just view it.
Oh, I'm
So
definitely going to
Jameelah,
check it out.
I
Yes.
have a question. Because Allendale Strong and up under our entity, we have the Allendale Food Co-op. And with that being said, I'm listening to you. You're talking about the outdoor garden street. So is there a place in there where, because we live in a community where we need vegetables grown, is that a place that we can grow veggies in that place?
Well, actually, it's actually a studio for artists, but we do have a 3 lots over on Linwood. We have with our Cultural Arts Center. I think you were there the last time, Ms. Wiley.
Right.
We have 2 lots next door to it. We also have a quarter of an acre on the corner. It's next to the crime lab, down the street from the crime lab, and our building is next door to our 2 lots, and they're not in use at all. And we were talking about, we have the what is it, Sankofa Gardens. I don't know if you know Leah Lewis. She's
No.
growing vegetables right next door to our lots. So it all would work together, and that's the whole idea.
I'm sorry, if I could just add in to that, Miss Dorothy, the Pier Avenue School campus right by my house. I've been in conversation again with the people on Texas Avenue, and they're wanting to work with us and help supply resources for us to do a community garden that can provide food to the residents. So we've got a lot of good stuff going on. It's just everybody doing their own thing individually.
Right. And just like you said, we really need to come together as one unit so that we'll know what each other's doing, that way we can incorporate and work together with each other to make this a great place, because we are a desert over here. We don't have what we used to have over here. And that's what we're trying to bring back together. And again, I always say a city is only as great as its weakest community. So, a lot of times I hear people talking about, oh, those people are coming in over here. Well, they're coming in from other communities to help their weakest community. And I think that's just fair, because that's the only way a city is going to grow. So I really appreciate the information. Like I say, even though we are a food desert, just to know that we have these places available when I get back with the food co-op, and invite you all in to be a part of, because you already are a part of. Maybe we could talk about something and see how we can get this going and incorporate it together.
Yes. Well,
And
Pamoja has a lot of resources that is available to anyone that we're working with. And we want everyone to use, it's just sitting there. Everything's just sitting. Like you said, everybody's doing their own thing, and we should be working together, because we could grow food off of Linwood and take it to Allendale. We can do things. We can use all of the resources we have. We can pool our resources.
That's right, Miss Jameelah, pooling our resources. And Mr. Bryant, just again, for the purposes of this podcast, to provide information to those persons who are partaking of. Just know we're talking about Allendale, but it's really a culture that exists within the city of Shreveport. It's
Street.
always about that somebody else's ice is colder than mine. And so therefore it's like, I don't have any confidence in myself that I'm not able to do anything, but that is not true. But I would like those that are partaking of this podcast to be aware too that as it relates to the community gardens and Miss Wiley, I know Miss Chapel, Miss Rosie Chapel started that garden over there at the Allendale Garden, and then other communities started doing their little, small gardens and so forth. And so let me say this, when it comes up to us people, those who have a hue of the skin tone that I have, we come up with what we need to solve our own problems. And because money can be associated, affiliated, attached with it, then the other folks always show up coming into our communities to do what we was already doing. It's just that the money winds up flowing
somewhere
to
else.
other people.
Yes.
But then they come back over here. Because I done got a call from other folk ain't from here, got a card. They got money paying them to come into our community
Yes.
to build a garden that we already been doing anyway, but we ain't getting no money for no garden. So I'm gonna leave that alone.
Don't leave it alone. Don't leave it alone.
Just saying, you asked Mr. Bryant first about how we feel, and I said to you, I'm hurting. I'm actually hurting in my heart.
Yes.
But because I'm a warrior, okay, that hurt, what you see is passion. And I'm ready to upset the status quo. I can hurt and still make good rational decisions. I could be hurting and still do righteous things. The Bible says, be angry and sin not.
No, right.
So I try to be a help by transferring information, building partnerships like we're doing with CNC Mercantile. They're on our cusp. Those people don't look like us, but those people are hurting for us. Why? Because they came into our community and they see what our conditions are. And they ask me, they want to work with us to help us. So, I mean, the people that want to help you don't always look like you. Sometimes it's people that look like you, the ones that hurting you. Anyway,
right.
Y'all know I can get passionate.
And you know what? You're absolutely right about that. And I just really need to bring this up while we're on that subject, because I mean, I was just looking at, I was reading an article in Shreveport Times about our past council member, Willie Bradford, how he was saying those people are coming into our community, trying to stop this freeway, but those people are the people who are trying to come in to help our community from being destroyed by a freeway. Right. And that's even right. As he had mentioned in the article that he mentioned how 49 helped Burt Coons, but he didn't mention how 20 came in and destroyed the community over here, how it separated and divided it, how it made downtown no longer thrive, but to strive. And they're trying to build it up again. So again, it takes those people who don't live in the community to come over and help us who do live in the community. So I guess for me, when I was looking at that, I said, well, I'm not one of those people, but I am one of the people who is a homeowner in this community who need those people to come in to help us fight this fight with this freeway. I'm looking at what he's saying, it's like, okay, so cars are coming in that's supposed to give us some type of economic sustainability, but our president, Joe Biden, is saying we got to get rid of some of this carbon because of climate control. But you saying that cars are the lifeline to this community. So in other words, you could stick an IV of carbon monoxide in my arm and I'm supposed to be okay because you want these cars to come in here and run over us. So I have a problem with that, you know. And the
Yes.
thing about it is, even as you sat on the council, you could have helped. That could have been your opportunity that God was giving you then to say, hey, we're going to help the community that I came out of. To bring it back up. You named everything that was in this community. You said you had grocery stores, gas station, barbershop, funeral home. You even had a bank over here. When you were growing up as a child, as a boy here, but you grew up and you left and it was almost you forgot about the people who were here. That's not good. But again, as I was reading his article, it was like, okay, so God, you gave him another chance. You sit him on the city council to come in to help your community, but all you did was disregarded us, disrespected us, and looked down on us as if we were nothing, talking about those little bitty people over there.
Oh.
Okay, so you know what? Again, a city is only as strong as its weakest community.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 All
That was
right.
powerful, Miss Dorothy. I read that.
Yes.
Yes, that's powerful.
I mean,
I
go ahead.
started to call him personally, but I did not let him alone. If he's in his zone and he's already failed us, he's trying to make himself look good. There's no way he can make himself look good. He's making himself look worse and worse and worse.
Right. And just, you know, just to know that, you know, to bring revitalization back into this historic neighborhood and what you're, you know, and the other thing, just talking about how it's dilapidated. You know what? Okay. But even though as it's dilapidated, they made it dilapidated. They made those people who you're talking about that you're probably sitting there with because they want to come back in here. And you're saying the homeowners are not taking care of their properties. That's a lie. The homeowners who live here, we are taking care of our properties. It's the ones who have left their homes so they can sell their properties when the freeway come through. They're the ones not taking care of it because I live behind some of that property and no one's there. But you know, like I say, they're waiting to sell that property. The city needs to do something about that. Make those people come in, cut that property. If you're not gonna sell it or if it's not up for sale, you still need to upkeep it because it's your property. Because I take care of my property and I see others who live in homes over here, they're taking care of their property. It's these ones who have boarded up these businesses and their houses now, you know, like I say, waiting for a sale. Those are the ones who are not taking care of their property. Overgrown grass, trees that are rotten, falling in my driveway that I got to get up and pick up the limbs and the branches to get out of my driveway. No, that isn't right. So that's who's not taking care of their property, Mr. Bradford. We are taking care of ours because we live here and we care about Allendale.
So
And if I could,
go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say if I could add a major part, Miss Wiley, to those properties that are overgrown, that are falling apart. Guess what? The city owns them. They adjudicate their properties that have been adjudicated to the city. So it's the city not taking care of its own property. Anyway, let me.
No, no,
Okay,
but
no, so you know what? Then we need to go to the city and say, take care of your property. Because I'm gonna tell you what happened to me. When I called the city about the property, about this rotten tree that was falling in my yard, you know what they did? They came, they looked at the tree and came and knocked on my door and said, the tree is gonna fall back and not forward. Really? Okay.
Good.
I'm like,
Goodness.
wow.
Wow.
Okay, so I just had to get that part out, about how maybe cities are abandoning our homeowners who have property over here, how they are abandoning their properties and not taking care of it. And that needs to stop.
And
That's what makes, go on.
You talked about the adjudicated properties, right? And in Allendale, and I guess in North Allendale, there are not a lot of adjudicated properties because people are, like you said, people are trying to hold these properties to try to get some kind of monetary value out of them. But what people don't understand is how, when you look at how people value a market value of the land is on a couple of things, right? Especially if you go to Zillow and you look at Zillow and you look at the land that costs a lot and the land that is super cheap, crime and education is high on those lists. Well, you know what else is high on those lists? How close are you to an interstate? How close are you to a park? How close are you to restaurants? How much of walkability you have in your neighborhood? And I bring all that up to say the city has shut down Shreveport Park. They're trying to put an interstate through it. And all the businesses in the area are closed. There's no real walk. And then on top of that, they have not fixed any of the infrastructure in the Allendale, Lakeside, Ledbetter Heights area in so long that there is not walkable. There's no walkability. So what they have done is people are waiting to get paid off of this land market value, and you don't have any value. Right now, if you go through the majority of the land in North Allendale has tax liens on it. And there's actually 3 companies. You can look yourself. There are 3 companies that own 75% of the tax liens in North Allendale. For Lakeside, I think it's 68%. I was going through calculating. I think it's around 68% of Allendale has been adjudicated, right? And of that 68%, the majority of those have tax liens on it by the same 3 companies, right? So right now, where my grandmother used to stay at and my father used to stay at on Abbey Street, that little stretch of land over there, I would say if not every, I would say nearly every piece of land over there that does not have a home on it is adjudicated by the city. It's adjudicated by the, if you go to civicsource.com and look at the website and pull up that area, it has been adjudicated by Caddo and adjudicated by Shreveport. And one of the things that we don't know, and this is something that I've been working with my mother on, you can buy that land yourself. And if you stay next to a piece of land that has been adjudicated, you can put in with the city and you tell the city, I will take care of the land. I will cut the grass. I will do this. I will do that. You can buy that piece of land for $1.
Yes.
Now you go from being just a homeowner to owning the land next to you for $1 if it's adjudicated by the city. You pay the tax liens on it. You pay the old taxes on it. All of a sudden, you own a piece of land in the city of Shreveport.
We have no sidewalks. We have no street lights. We have nothing, but here we got organizations that's getting from the parish and the city millions of dollars to do a park when they have 80 parks that the city is trying to have nonprofits adopt. But it doesn't make sense, like I said, everybody wakes up every day, it's Groundhog Day. You walk out on your front porch, there's no sidewalks, there's no street lights. Well, what does that do to you as a person. It makes you feel like nothing. You stop thinking about it and you just start accepting it. And that's what's happened over in Allendale. How people have started accepting the situation and the circumstances. And what we want to do is add some beauty. We're having a hard time even, trying to get places to do murals with all those abandoned buildings. The city is still, they go to somebody, so whoever is a young European that they put in charge of Allendale and all the arts. They put in bike trails with art on it. I've never heard anybody come around and ask any of us what we want to see. What is it that we would like to see on these murals?